Yes, guys, welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. It's Thursday, and this is our first show of the week. We've waited for the Champions League football to been and gone, all that stuff. We've also waited for, I guess, our minds to process what we want to do this week because there's been so much big news. So in today's show, we're going to talk about our transfer targets. I am using 3 transfers, and I might even be clicking those buttons tonight. I'm going to talk you through them. Dean might be on a free hit. There's loads to get through. Want to answer your questions. Good to see so many of you in the chat. But first and foremost, my fellow co-host and absolutely smashing it this season, Dean, tell us your rank.
Well, I'm at 320k right now, so it's not quite as good as I could have been. Before the final game, the Sunderland-Everton one, I was up to 270, I think, which is the highest I've been in a while.
Checking mid-game week. Look at you.
But I have just tweeted that my son Dylan, so obviously like both kids are joining in this season, Dylan and Reese. Reese is 5, Dylan's 7. Dylan is at 130k.
Unbelievable.
He hasn't free hit yet. He hasn't wildcarded yet.
Oh,
mate,
how much would he sell me his team ID?
Mate, do you think there's value in this? Yeah. Do you think?
I mean, content creators can't because people track you, so they know you. But there will be people out there that want mini leagues to win that would be like, oh, actually.
I mean, look, technically, mate, it's in my name.
Is it?
Well, actually, it's not under my name. It's under my. It's one of my email addresses. Obviously, it's got his name on it. Emails, yeah, it's got his name on it, I guess. So I don't know whether it's even. I don't know if he's eligible to win FPL at 7 years old. I don't know if they allow you to do that. I'm guessing not.
I don't know if there's age restrictions. That's a good point.
I'm assuming there probably is. But honestly, if he gets into the top 100k, we've got a new hook on our hands. 7-year-old hits top 100k, which. If there's 11 million players of this game, like he's definitely top 1%, right?
Yeah.
Like,
if there's 10 million, it's top 1%, and there's more. There's almost
easily
12.
In the top.
So
he's in the top 1% now.
He's at what? 145.
130.
No, he's
just outside.
It needs
just outside the top 1%. Yeah. So what's a better hook? 7-year-old hits top 1% or top 100k, whatever it is.
I mean, I played FPL for a decade before I could write a book about being in the top 1%. So, fair play to him.
I said to him this morning, I said, Dylan, we've got to chat about your team. He had no idea what his rank was. He was like, why? Because I'm higher than you in our mini league. I said, no, because you are potentially in the top 1% in the world. And he gets this smug look on his face because he always thinks he's the best at everything anyway, which is a really annoying trait he has. Could play baseball for the first time ever and suddenly thinks he's like superstar. And so I said, what would you say? And he looked at his team. He said, well, I do get a bit lucky because I don't even know who Alderete is. I was like, okay, well, that's fair. He's like, but he said, I remember you told me a lot of people didn't have Haaland at the start, and I thought that was really dumb because he's the best Premier League player. He said, so I didn't understand things like that. So I was like, okay, look, you've got a little bit of time. I might get you on the show. So at some point soon, if Dylan can crack the top 100k, then we're in there. Now, obviously, he's going to because he's got a free hit and a wild card. He should make it. Thank you, Glenn, for gifting a membership. So this is his current team as it stands right now. He's only got 1 free transfer at the moment. I mean, it's not awful. Like it's not.
That's fine. It's good. I mean, differentials in there with good fixtures. Like who in the FPL community has Bowen? Who has Welbeck? Good players with good fixtures and good points potential. I bet he's the top ranked manager in San Diego. I'd put money on that at 145k.
Which
is pretty cool to tell him.
Yeah, I'll also have a look, actually. While we were chatting now, I'm going to have a quick look at to see where he's ranked in the USA League or whatever it is. So I'll have a look at that. But yeah, so my personal season's going fine. I'm right up there in that, like, community. Like, it's got some of the, like, content creators and stuff. I think I'm 6th now, which is pretty good. So I'm happy with that.
Absolutely.
But I'm now way more excited about the fact that Dylan might win it.
Yeah, I love that. I'm around 1 million. I'm happy where I am even. Let's get on with our big talking points this week. Hello to everyone in the chat, by the way. Miss FPL, shout out you, Colm, CH, David, Heather, Geddy, Glenn, of course, who gifted a membership. Thank you, guys. Nice and early. We'd love you to hit the buttons today. I keep getting to 40 minutes into the show and then going, haven't said like and subscribe. So do hit those buttons nice and early if you fancy. Likes would be very well. It helps the algorithm. Yeah.
The thing I haven't signed up for the USA League is in the England League.
Oh, move him straight away, man, for the ranks.
So it's 54,000 in England.
Oh, mate, in USA, it'll be top 1,000.
He would be. He would be.
You might be able to edit that in settings. If not, for next season, you can.
Next season. Oh, man.
Dylan's team was might become a regular feature, guys. So let us know.
That's right,
and Dean can let us know on Saturday's deadline stream what move he's making. I want to talk about Mbeumo versus Bruno today. We want to talk about Salah. We want to talk about DEFCON defenders, Mateta, Welbeck, captaincy this game week. Where should we start? Should we start with Bruno versus Mbeumo? It's a little bit meaty to start off, but we've put Bruno on the thumbnail. There's a lot out there looking at buying Man United. And just to set the scene here, let me show you guys the fixture ticker, right? This is the fixture ticker for the next 6 game weeks. This is up to AFCON. I only think we should be looking at the fixture ticker up to game week 16. What's the point looking beyond that? Because in game week 16, we get 5 free transfers.
Yeah.
So you're going to change your team loads and you'll have African players you'll be selling.
Yeah.
Dean, what do you make of this? Man United top. No European football. We keep banging on about it, but that is 6 games. I'd say game week 13, the trip to Selhurst Park is a tricky one. But United can pick 4 or 5 wins up in this 6-game run, can't they?
Well, I'd like to say yes, but obviously I predicted they'd beat Nottingham Forest 2-0 and they'd have an easy win.
Told you.
Yeah. So they let me down on that one. I don't think they should have.
That was my surprise of the weekend. Just Sean Dyche at home.
Yeah, we'll see. They're about to play in a minute, aren't they? Again, so they've got a big game tonight. But I don't like the Tottenham fixture is the problem.
Oh, do you not? No, even though what Chelsea did to Spurs.
No, I don't think it's the same.
Mate, that Spurs performance was embarrassing versus Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, look, Chelsea are a little bit like Man United in terms of inconsistency. I mean, to go and play like that against Tottenham and then not beat Qarabag. No, Qarabag are actually a decent team, to be fair, but you know, you keep telling me you're champions of the world and all this, right? You can't not beat Qarabag if you're going to stick.
Barcelona didn't beat Bruges.
Stick that flag up. No, they didn't. But Barcelona aren't champions of the world. But I think that the dominance that Chelsea showed is different. They dominate in different areas to where Man United do, in my opinion. And also, I thought Tottenham were really hurt in that fixture by having the early injury to Bergvall. I think that really rocks the game plan, and having to bring Xavi Simons on so soon. That didn't work at all. And Chelsea completely exploited that flaw. So I think Tottenham will be better here. Obviously, they just had a real confidence builder in terms of being able to batter Copenhagen. And I think they've got a point to prove as well, in a sense, because, you know, the Europa League win, what does it really count? It was such a fine margin, you know, does it really count for anything? Are they really better off than Man United? And I think this is the chance to prove that. It's a really big game for Thomas Frank too, because fans are really disappointed in his style of play. You know, Mickey van der Ven trying to prove a point by charging 90 yards to score a goal to show that they will have a go at defences. But now, yeah, I just don't trust Man United in this fixture. I think, don't get me wrong, I think they can go to Tottenham and win. Of course I do. I just don't know who I would pick for this fixture. To be honest, my hunch would be Bruno over Mbeumo for this fixture.
Would it?
Yeah, but over the course of those games, I think it would be Mbeumo. So that's the dilemma that I would have if I was to pick one of those guys for this game week.
It's such a tough one. Like, Mbeumo was the highest transfer in last week. Over 1 million bought him, and he obviously blanked. Now, Bruno didn't blank against Forest. He obviously took the corner, which led to a goal. I mean, when we compare their stats, it is very similar. Like, I'll just show you, I think we got a couple of grabs from their stats, so we'll just run through it. But in terms of XG, you have to remember Bruno has taken 3 penalties. So straight away, when you look at the XG numbers and these stats that we're about to show you, 2.4 is pens for Bruno. Oh, that's not the XG one. I think we've got the XG one coming up. I'll show you that now. There we go. Yeah, so 2.4 of Bruno's 4.3 is penalties. So open play, Mbeumo's had the higher XG. But don't forget, Mbeumo doesn't take penalties and Bruno will get them. Man United get pens, what? Do you reckon they can average? Had 3 pens in 10 games, Dean. If they average that all season, you're looking at 3, 6, 9. You're looking at like 11 penalties. That's probably unrealistic, but 9, 10 is they could average one every 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't think Old Trafford's like it was once upon a time for pens, but yeah, over the course of a season, I think that it's fair to say that there's likely to be a run of games where it comes in. Yeah, I do think that Bruno is it's a better pick than I had him down for a few weeks back, put it that way.
Yeah,
because I was always a bit dismissive of DEFCON. I was dismissive of Bruno playing further back and all these things. And on the eye test, I still like how Mbeumo plays. Obviously, that's how I pick my team, is on how I watch the games. And I still think Mbeumo is a good pick. I've been saying I'd still go for Mbeumo over Cunha and things like that. So I do like Mbeumo. And as I say, over that stretch, if I had one transfer and I could bring in one of them, then it would be Mbeumo, just because it's the longer term pick. And I think that it's safer because of the area. The reason Man United signed Mbeumo is because historically, when they've tracked his data, tracked his heat maps and all these things, he's extremely reliable and consistent at getting in the same areas of the field, scoring a certain number of goals, which seems to increase year upon year at Brentford. And it's from pretty desirable spots, basically. He's not hitting hope quite as much as Cunha probably overperformed his XG because he shoots more from distance and scores worldies, whereas Mbeumo is like tried and tested, corner of the box, whatever, and scores from there. United trust that, so I think you'd have to trust that too for this current version of Man United, because they're finally playing into the 10s understanding the system fully. So
AFCON's a bit of a problem. Not a problem, but you said the best long-term pick there is Mbeumo. My problem with long-term is in 5 weeks we got to sell him. But for those 5 weeks, it could be better. But Bruno, you can keep in your team for the next 10.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's creative split, mate. Yeah, it's a split. It's like 50. The poll itself is going right now, and it's like 54 to 46, 58 to 40. It's like, it's right there. There's people finding this very difficult
doing my head in.
Split. Yeah, and
I'm buying one of these players, and I still don't know. Like any other week,
a coin.
I'd be so Mbeumo. Like I'm an Mbeumo type manager. Bruno's just not a me pick when he's playing as a midfield 2. But the last couple of weeks, when you've watched the games, whilst Bruno's been playing alongside Casemiro, because Man United have been so dominant, certainly against Brighton, Bruno's playing 10, 20 yards higher up the pitch. So his open play threat in the last couple of weeks has changed. Dean said it earlier. I've seen it through watching the games too. And straight away, when Bruno's average position is higher up, he becomes more of a me pick, because I'm so all about the vibes, the average position on the field, the open play shots. Less so the DEFCON, the penalties, the set piece threat. It's worth noting, and Mbeumo takes half the set pieces, Bruno the other half. The creativity, I'm shocked that Bryan Mbeumo has a higher expected assists than Bruno, quite considerably higher. That got me a little bit. And then the money matters. They started the season at 8 and 9 million, respectively. I felt like Mbeumo was definitely worth the punt if you're saving $1 million. Now you're only saving 0.5. That kind of takes money out the equation for me, I think. And I've just got to go, effectively, they're the same price. Who am I going for? And that makes it really tough. One, because Bruno's looked better in the last couple of weeks in terms of average position. But two, the financial gap has closed. And Mbeumo's gone up in price. Bruno's dropped in price. Bruno's now 8.9 and Mbeumo's 8.4. I think my heart is telling me Mbeumo, and I'll probably go with my heart. But at the moment, I'm 51-49, and my head is saying Bruno is the smart, long-term, DEFCON penalties, regular pick.
Yeah, look, there's a narrative too, like Mbeumo up against Thomas Frank. Like, it's a nice narrative for this week. I mean, whether that means actually that Thomas Frank's got his number and knows how to stop him for a game like this, but it always surprised me when I was working in newspapers. Like go towards the weekend and they'd put up a player to speak to for whatever fixture. And a lot of the time you'd get a player who was built into a narrative. So he'd either played for the other team or he'd played for there was a connection.
Yeah.
And, you just naturally would end up having to go down this pathway and talk about that and write about that. And quite a lot of times I've been like, oh, it's probably irrelevant. But like, I couldn't believe how often that player would end up actually making the difference. It was really bizarre.
Yeah, okay.
Over the years, there was a really good track record of the player that had the narrative actually having the big say in the game. So don't totally discount it because there's something in it.
Interesting. We've got one more stats chart to show you. This is the expected, but we've just got some basic stuff from Scout, which we'll flick to now. They've had 10 starts each. They've come off twice each. And Mbeumo's have got 4 goals to 2. They've got 2 and 1 assist. FPL points 53 and 45. And Mbeumo is leading the way. Bruno does get the yellow cards as well. We have to remember. And Mbeumo doesn't get the yellow cards. But for bonus points, if Bruno gets 1 return, like an assist in a 2-2, he's still getting bonus. You couldn't say the same for Mbeumo. His baseline's not as good. Routes to points, smart pick is Bruno. Vibes, high upside is Mbeumo. We're going to go back to that fixture ticker just very quickly. We're going to talk captaincy in game week 11 now. But before we do, captaincy in game week 12 is also interesting. And this is part of the Bruno versus Mbeumo conversation. Game week 12, Haaland goes to St. James's Park. That is one of the toughest fixtures in the calendar. If you are backing against Haaland in 12, and look, he probably bangs versus Liverpool, and we all stick with Haaland in 12. But let's say we don't. One of the best alternatives is Mo Salah versus Forest, if you own him, or Mbeumo or Bruno versus Everton. My question to you, Dean, who's the better captain choice? Bruno or Mbeumo? Who would you rather captain? Because my answer there is Bruno, because I feel like he's got the higher floor. You just know you're getting some form of points. But Mbeumo comes from the ceiling.
Yeah, that's true, because you've still got a reasonable chance of ending up on a 2 for Mbeumo. So yeah, I think that you're right on that one. But that's a tricky call. I mean, we'll talk about it in a bit, but Salah's back on my radar massively.
Is that with captaincy in mind? Have you looked at game?
It wasn't anything to do with captaincy, mate. It's like, as we said 1,000 times on here, like I just watch the games. Like, so anyone that's new here, like I have a podcast as well, Ranks FC, with Jack Collins, and a big part of that podcast is like actually watching games and analysing them a bit and do transfers and all the rest of it. But we watch all of European football, and so I generally watch the full 90 minutes of half the Premier League games every weekend, and I'll watch the half-hour highlights of the rest. And so my FPL calls are made on the back of what I'm seeing, rather than any data. And I don't really even look ahead at fixtures, if I'm totally honest. Like I'll look 1 or 2 weeks. I rarely look at maps like this of how it's going to work out. And on the last 2 games, watching Liverpool, mate, I'm all in on Salah. Like, I think he's back. I think we got a different version of Salah base. Liverpool have changed. We'll talk about this in a minute. But because of the changes that have been made structurally in the last 2 games, we've seen a different Salah. So it wouldn't surprise me if I actually own Salah for game week 12. And if I do own him for game week 12, then I'll captain him.
Forest at home, I think you have to. Let's poll it on Salah and keep on Salah for a couple of more minutes. I think Salah is, for me, it's a case of ripping up my team and it's not worth it. He's not worth the surgery. I do want Liverpool attack. We've just seen them in the ticker, second to Man United. I think going without a Liverpool attacker for this window feels silly. Gakpo's too risky. We saw Wirtz start on the left-hand side against Real Madrid. Gakpo was benched. Ekitike, if Isak is fit soon, will also be too risky.
No, Ekitike is the one, mate. If you're going outside of Salah, Ekitike is the one. It's not Isak.
Yeah, but if Isak is fit, he's going to eat into Ekitike's minutes. Whether or not
I don't know anymore, mate, because I think that Slot's learned a lesson. I think he's learned that you can't just put his stars in there. I think you've got to earn your place now. And Ekitike, Liverpool always function better with Ekitike since he came in. Yeah, like he's consistent and he's reliable, and Slot has to look at that at the moment, and he has done. Szoboszlai is obviously a good pick.
He's my pick.
Yeah, a few people asking. He's very reliable. He's on a lot of the set pieces. He's good for assists. He'll hit long ranges. Szoboszlai's a very good pick.
Against Real Madrid, he had 4 shots on target. Like he is playing the number 10 as well, with Wirtz out on the left and Szoboszlai 10. If that continues, Szoboszlai at 6.5 million, 6.6, he's just gone up.
Yeah, like Wirtz and Gakpo will probably be rotated, right? And Wirtz had certainly his best game for Liverpool so far, but he still doesn't look like he's going to be any good for FPL at the moment. So don't get involved in that. Gakpo, I've got in my team at the moment. Don't really want him much more because I'm not sure what I'm getting. But Salah is coming back into my mind in the same way that Haaland was at the start of the season when people weren't picking him. Because Salah doesn't go through a whole Premier League season being mid. He's not going to do it. And I've been waiting to be convinced of that because he was so flat across the opening 10 games or whatever. And now, as I say, in the last 2 games, particularly Real Madrid, like there was that urgency about him again. It felt like he was back on a stage that he had to be reminded of. And he's got those little touches inside. He's trying to get his shots away into the far corner. I don't know. There's just something in me that's like, get back on him while nobody else has got him.
And he is a proper differential for the community pick. Does that mean you're going to have to sacrifice no Man United mid, no Bukayo Saka, and that's 2 really good picks?
Saka's not a good pick at the moment, though. And that's the other reason I'm tempted by it. Because I don't think Salah will be... If Saka carries on like this...
But he's been great. Saka's been... His underlying numbers, like he missed 2 big chances last time. I know he didn't convert them, but he's getting them. And he scores every time Arsenal do not play in the Premier League. Every Champions League or EFL Cup game, he is scoring goals.
Yeah,
I just... mugged off, mate.
Don't get me wrong. This is a big risk. This is a big risk if I do this. But I am tempted to switch out Salah for Saka.
The fixtures are phenomenal. It's also worth noting we will have to get rid of Salah again come game week 16. So whilst you'll get him, you won't get him for all these fixtures. You only get him for half of them. And if you're ripping up your structure of your team, you're looking at more than one move to get a Salah, and then you're looking at more than one move to get him out and redistribute the funds. So it's a real considered buy. But we'll learn more next week if you go there, I guess. Yeah,
this is the thing. If I free hit this week, I don't know. I might still pick Salah, to be honest. I'm not against having Salah against Man City. But
I don't mind that.
More importantly, Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds. A period of games where Liverpool have to put their foot to the floor. They've got to get themselves back into the title race. They look like they're repairing the damage, and that Slot isn't as stupid as we thought he was a week ago when people were talking about, is he good enough for this? Like, Slot's sorted that out. Like, he's sorted out his midfield. He's got his midfield 3 back, right? He's not going to mess around with that.
Yeah, he's done the Wirtz experiment.
Wirtz is gone. Szoboszlai's not playing right back anymore. We know what the 3 in midfield is.
That's why I want Szoboszlai, man. If he's going to play that role every week, he's so good.
Szoboszlai.
We're going to see hungry Szoboszlai, as in what we see for his national team, which is output.
Do you know what he said? He was interviewed after the game against Real Madrid. Jamie Carragher said to him, you're playing in your favourite position now, and I love it. And he said, this isn't my favourite position.
What really? What is it on the right? Is it Mo Salah?
My favourite position's deeper. I want to play deep.
Wow. Playmaker from deep. Andrea Pirlo.
Yeah. Got the hair. That's what he wants to do.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, Carragher was surprised too. But someone was like, don't get me wrong, I prefer where I'm playing now to playing at right back. I don't want to be there again. He pretty much said, I don't want to play right back.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you're not going to be anymore, mate. Like, we've seen that you need to be playing in this role that you're in right now.
He plays number 10 for Hungary, though. I'm surprised his favourite role is... Andrea Pirlo was a 10, moved back.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Szoboszlai is too young to be making that switch, I think. And Liverpool need him further forward right now. But, I thought that was a really interesting comment. But Szoboszlai is a really good pick.
And you don't rip up your team to get him, and you get him for AFCON. I reckon we're going to be here in game week 12, where Dean and I are both going to be looking at Szoboszlai in our team. But it's the entry point's Man City away, so some very few, I guess, are going there this week. But I still think Liverpool score at the Etihad.
Mate, this is the thing. I really wouldn't discount having a couple of Liverpool players in your team for this one. Now, you don't want too many people from the City-Liverpool game, obviously, because we truly don't know which way the game's going to go. Not going to be loads of goals in it. most of us have Haaland, most of us have Reinders as a squad option, and then you might have one more, you might not. And then, Liverpool, I mean, slowly it's kind of dissipated in terms of where the kind of options we've actually got at the moment. I've got Gakpo at the moment.
Yeah, he's got to go.
But he's not going to be in my team. I don't want him in my team this week. And to be honest, like, obviously last week we were doing the shows about free hits, and in the end I didn't do it. I was dissuaded from doing it. And thank you, people. I didn't need to do it. I got a good score without it. But this week, because Gyokeres probably isn't playing.
Yeah, but you need to sell him anyway.
I do need to sell him anyway, but I don't.
And you need to sell Gakpo anyway. Mate, I don't think you need to free hit at all.
I don't need to. I don't need to.
No one ever needs to. You're right. It's just about upgrading your team.
But I could upgrade my goalkeeper. I could, by not having Gyokeres, it means that I have a spot open up for an Arsenal player.
Yeah.
Which goes into defence or goalkeeper.
How many transfers you got? You got 2?
I've only got 1.
Yeah, so you have to take a hit.
Whoa. I've got 2.
You're right. Mate, there's no way you need to free hit. You sell Gyokeres to whoever, and then you get an Arsenal defender.
You're right, actually. I can do that. But then I can't have Salah. So,
no, you can't have Salah. But you don't need Salah as an entry point at City.
I don't need Salah right now. No, I don't need Salah. But I will have him, mate. For that next week against Nottingham Forest.
That run, yeah.
I do want to get myself into a position.
You can save your money. You can go Gyokeres down so low that you
can go
Saka up to Salah. You make sure you got 4 million in the bank to do that. And by selling Gyokeres as your cash cow, you can do that this week.
Yeah. Getty asks about
Gyokeres to Gyu.
Well, this is the thing. Getty says thoughts on his injury. Hold him or sell for Saka would be a -4, or even sell to Pedro is my dilemma this week.
That was my original plan, Getty. I was going to go to João Pedro, and it was the emotional Chelsea fan in me. Seeing him against Spurs, getting the shots. Against Qarabag last night, João Pedro again, 0 shots. He's not a hot pick right now, despite his performance against Spurs, where he missed a couple of big chances but got the goal. For me, you definitely are selling Gyokeres. Even if he's fit in game week 12 after the international break, Havertz will be back by then, or getting minutes by then. And Gyokeres has proven to be a pretty bang average FPL option. I think we can all safely say. Like, Dean and I have owned him a lot. We haven't got the points we thought we were going to. Saka, on the other hand, is still a brilliant FPL option. He has pens and corners, half the corners, but open play, he is getting the chances. He's scoring in Europe. He's scoring in the FL Cup. He is going to start scoring in the Premier League. He missed 2 big chances in the first half in game week 10. Get to Saka ASAP, or sell Gyokeres and just get an extra Arsenal defender. But you have to sell Gyokeres if you own him. Do not get to game week 12 and still have Gyokeres, who you don't know if he's going to start because Arteta won't tell us. Havertz will be back. Gabby Jesus will be back soon. And you're just going, I've got a bang average 9 million forward. Sack him off.
Yeah, it's tough. I still like Gyokeres as a player in the Arsenal team. And I think
he functions well.
I think he'll play him as much as he can still. But it'll be interesting to see how they manage this problem that he's got. Ideally, they just wanted to leave him out of the Champions League and get him in there for Sunderland. But it doesn't sound like now like that's going to be plausible. And it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal even play without him for
Marino in amongst the goals.
I think Marino's the pick.
Yeah, I know. Mate, don't, because I very nearly brought him into my Champions League team because it was the early game. So we saw the 11s, and then the deadline closes the minute of kickoff. We all saw Marino was in, and I was on wildcard, and I didn't do it. And I was going to bring him in and captain him, and wish I had. All right, look, captain this game week. Look, we're not going to show you our teams in today's video because we're doing a deadline stream. We're going to do it really early on Saturday morning. So we are doing 7:30 to 8:30 on Saturday morning. The reason we're doing that time is it's before the YouTubers go live, but they don't go live till 9. We could have done 8 till 9, but 2 reasons. It's like silly o'clock for Dean, and I need to take my daughter to ballet, which starts at 9. So we're doing 7:30 to 8:30, but I'm thinking I might do a deadline stream on my channel before and do a raid chasing green arrows. So I might do like a 7 o'clock quick fire, half an hour, and then we'll throw to me and Dean at 7:30. So regardless, Saturday morning, all the other YouTubers, no one's going to be live that early. Come watch Chasing Green Arrows, and Dean will show you his either free hit team or his actual team. We're both going to be selling Gyokeres regardless. I'll show you my confirmed team with 3 moves. At the moment, I'm selling Gyokeres and I'm buying Calafiori. And as well as Mbeumo or Bruno and Mark Guiu, so 3 moves. But Dean, Raya versus an extra Arsenal defender. Let's just discuss that before we go captain Haaland, yes or no. Because if everyone's selling Gyokeres, some will go to Rice or Saka, but most will strengthen their backline. Let's assume everyone's got Gabriel. I know not everyone does, but yeah. Raya's capped at 6 points. He's only had 2 save points all season. Calafiori or Timber or Saliba, they're so dangerous from set pieces. I know Gabriel's the main beneficiary, but Gabriel also knocks it down a lot. And Calafiori and Timber and Saliba will get tap-ins, just like Gyokeres had last week from the set piece. Where do you see that conversation going? Because the best 4 scoring defenders in the game this season, 3 of them are Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. Gabriel clear of everybody. Then you've got Timber and Calafiori coming up behind. Calafiori, I think, where would I go? I'd probably go Timber, actually. I was going to say Calafiori. I'm going to go with Timber as the one I think I would actually pick out of those 2. Gabriel is just monstrous, mate. Like, the season he's having, he's just getting better and better. Like, it's just, you can't get past him. More than that, obviously, the set pieces have been well talked about. His decisions on passes are unbelievable. Like, Gabriel keeps picking the harder pass out of defence, and it'll come out, and there'll be 2 options, or maybe 3 sometimes with Arsenal. But he keeps picking the riskier pass, and that's why Arsenal were getting a lot of their joy in the final third. Is he's picking out people, and they'll be on the half turn, and it's extremely hard pass to take. But Gabriel's making it because he's got so much confidence at the moment. So there's every area of Gabriel's game is like setting the bar. He's like Van Dijk in his prime. Like,
I hadn't spotted that. I didn't know he had that in his locker.
His pass selection for me has been really good. I mean, I've only really paid close attention to this in the last couple of games when it first kind of properly caught my eye. But yeah, in midweek, I thought it was great. So yeah, anyway, Gabriel is still obviously the standout, and that's probably the player I'll bring in for losing Gyokeres, because I don't have Gabriel, and it feels just like if I'm gonna
mate, that's such a no. That's why I don't like free hit for you, because there are moves you have to make anyway. You have to sell Gyokeres anyway. You have to get Gabriel anyway.
No, it's true.
So rush of blood, because you're at the dizzy heights, mate, and I get it. You want that momentum. You're like, I want another green on it. But just let me just show you that fixture ticker again as to when I think free hit works for the vast majority of teams. Just go back to the fixture ticker in game week 13. Man United go to Crystal Palace, and a lot have Palace and Man United assets, so you could rule that fixture out. But more importantly, and this is the big one, Arsenal play Chelsea. Game week 13, Arsenal go to Stamford Bridge. That is a tough game, and I think Arsenal concede for once in that fixture. You take out all your Arsenal and Chelsea players, and you go big on Man City at home to Leeds. You go triple City attack versus Leeds. That is a big City fixture. That's huge. Yeah. You look at, I don't know, you fancy Forest to beat Brighton at home. You go, I think Brentford have got Burnley at home. You go Thiago. Like, I really like game week 13 for free hit. Triple City attack. Take out your Man United, your Palace, your Chelsea, and your Arsenal players. For many, that's 9 of your current squad. Like, it just makes sense. So it won't make sense for everyone, depending on their team. But game week 13 looks really good.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, Man City, I've just seen who their Champions League game is going into the Leeds game. It's Bayer Leverkusen at home. So that's fine. Pep doesn't need to really hold back all of his top players for that one. Ryan Cherki's going to be on my radar massively. He's really, really giving this team something different. Phil Foden was brilliant yesterday. Best game I've seen him have in ages, to be honest. It was Foden on the half turn again and again, and both the goals he scored, they just couldn't deal with his movements, Dortmund. So Foden's going to be interesting too by the time we get to game week 13, I think. But for me, Cherki's the one that I'll be looking to move into my team, and probably Reinders is going to be on his way out.
I think I'm selling him this week as well. I think he's in the first 11, but those 2 roles behind Haaland, central, now Cherki's fit and Marmoush is fit. and Bernardo Silva's playing well, and Foden's playing well, and then there's Reinders. That's 5 names. Only 2 of them can start in those 2 roles, in the 8-10 hybrid roles. Now, sure, 1 or 2 of them, Foden or Marmoush, can be pushed out wide. But there's 5 players there for 2 spots. And that's going to kill us over the festive period when we know Pep will rotate.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be very difficult because he's got so many options again now, like Pep Roulette's coming back into effect. And by the way, I mean, coming into the season, remember I did a video saying, get ready for Enzo Roulette because Maresca was going to be giving it, mate. No team in the Premier League is making as many selection changes as Enzo Maresca.
The back 4 changes every single time.
To disastrous consequences.
In fact, 2 or 3 of the back 4 every time. We have no idea what the best centre-back pairing is.
I can tell you it's not the one that they used against Karabakh.
It was, who was that? Tosin and
Hatta.
I genuinely can't keep up. At the weekend, Fofana and Chalobah. It was Chalobah, left centre-back, Fofana right centre-back against Spurs. That looked quite good.
Yeah. Hatto and Tosin was...
It was Hatto and Tosin, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... Hatto was a bit unlucky.
I would never put those 2 together.
Oh,
that's a bad combo.
That's a bad. I mean, anything and Tosin is always a bad pick because
you don't put a 19-year-old kid new to the team with Tosin.
No, I wouldn't say so either. Yeah, I was surprised that they went there. The only Chelsea player to own is Sanchez, says James. Sanchez has been really good.
4.8 million. And when we talk about Chelsea defenders, they will keep some clean sheets. Look at the fixtures for Chelsea. Like, I know they're at the bottom of the ticker, but you take out Arsenal in game week 13, and it's Wolves, Burnley, Leeds, Bournemouth, Everton. Like, there's 3 clean sheets in those 6. Sanchez is a cheap route to the Chelsea backline that you know is going to start every week.
Yeah,
I like
it. It definitely is. And I looked even at Chelsea for this week, and I was like, I do like it as a fixture. Like if you're looking at like getting in a cheap, because Chelsea have got some cheap options across the back. And now, obviously, that's like I just said, like the problem is you don't really know exactly who's going to play. But I think a Champong is probably going to play at the weekend.
Yeah, but if he plays this week, then he doesn't play next week. It's like, oh, so annoying.
That's the problem.
Same with Fofana. Like, you can't play him 3 times a week. But we like the Wolves matchup, right? Have Wolves got a manager yet?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they have they?
I think everyone's turned it down, haven't they?
So, I mean, it's a good time to play Wolves because everyone was like, oh, new manager bounce. Like, if a new manager comes in tomorrow, it's hardly a new manager bounce. He wouldn't have, it'll take 1 training session, best case scenario. Like, so, yeah, I don't mind. That's why I was hot on João Pedro, but I just can't be. Liam Delap could start for Chelsea, by the way, against Wolves. That would be a very brave and possibly silly punt because he's not going to play 90 and he's a massive rotation risk for the next few weeks. But Liam Delap could start and bang versus Wolves. Just want to throw it out there. Yeah,
I mean, Delap, he owes Chelsea one. Thought he did quite well when he came on. The substitutions Chelsea made by bringing in Enzo, Delap and Garnacho in the Champions League saved them really against Karabakh. And Delap played a big role in getting the ball forward so that they could get level on that one. It was a good goal from Garnacho. So I do like Delap. I don't think that's a particularly bad pick, but also quite a brave pick, I guess, given the other options that are available at the moment.
Yeah, it's the minutes, isn't it? I'm going for a Chelsea forward in Mark Guiu, 4.2 million. I've used my bench boost. You can rot as my 3rd sub until a wild card, pretty much in like 20 weeks' time. I'm quite happy playing FPL with 14, not 15, I think. And Mark Guiu just makes sense. He's dropped to 4.2 million. Like, yeah.
Wow.
Let's talk about some individuals. Guys, do hit those buttons if you're just joining. We never quite know exactly when we're streaming. We do it at least twice a week, but the time slots have been changing with Monday Night Football, with Champions League fixtures. Do hit the notification bell. And I know the notifications on YouTube have been all over the place, but try it and hopefully you'll know when we're live. And we'll try and schedule the streams as way in advance as possible so you get that notification. But yeah, the likes and subscribes would be amazing today if you want to show support. We're still nearing that 11K mark and we would love to get there very, very soon. We're at 10.7 thousand. So hit the buttons if you can. Let's talk about some individuals. We have, well, should we talk about the DEFCON graphic that our producer shared earlier? I think this is quite interesting. By the way, Haaland captaincy poll, I think 70% are doing it and Dean and I are doing it. So we're not even going to discuss it this week. We'll do more on the deadline stream on that. But yeah, the DEFCON graphic, and then Dean, I'll come to you to shout out some of the individuals that we're going to discuss on today's show. I think we've got Mateta and Welbeck chat, but just interesting looking at not only those hitting DEFCON and the suspects you expect, Senesi, Tarkowski, Cullen and Xhaka, but who do you get them against? Well, you don't get DEFCON really when you play Aston Villa, Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea, mostly the better teams. The least DEFCON achieved against, though, really interesting. You expect Burnley, right? And West Ham and Sunderland away. But Chelsea and Man City, I found that really interesting. Chelsea and Man City, when you face them, you expect your players to be high on DEFCON. That's not necessarily the case. You're muted.
Sorry, I was on mic. I still haven't made a single selection this season based on DEFCON, not deliberately.
Yeah,
I just haven't been convinced enough of it. I know it's a real thing, and I know that people are having success in identifying people, but I'm still going with the old school way of like looking for midfielders that actually get attacking points. And I've been boosted along the way, by some extra points from centre backs. But I've never really identified this. And do you think this is accelerating, or do you think it's dying off in terms of aiming for these players to give our seasons a boost?
I think it's dying off. I think it was the new shiny toy. And I think the first handful of games in the Premier League saw like an average of 35 players over the 10 teams, 10 fixtures, 20 teams, 35-ish were getting DEFCON players. Now, I think last couple of weeks have been about 25. So we've seen a drop. Is that because there's fewer long throws? Is it because fewer teams are going back to front quickly? But also, I think we're seeing more reliable FPL assets clocking points now. Like, it felt like a lot of the big names were dodging points. Now they're perhaps getting the goals and the assists you think they're going to. So Minter's a good example. He's just gone and got 2 assists. Lucky, but he got 2 assists. He got a 9-pointer. Minter's a budget mid. Usually when we're shopping in the 5 to 6 million bracket, we're looking at the DEFCON guy. Maybe now the best 5 to 6 million midfielder actually is the high upside wide forward that plays for an attacking team like Brighton that don't have European football this season. And Minter, I think, probably is the best 5 to 6 million midfielder. He ain't going to get DEFCON, and maybe that doesn't matter because he's going to get the big points, the goals and the assists. So I think it's really interesting. I mean, centre-backs still slightly different. You're still picking your Senesis and your Palace defenders, for example, and I like that. But for mids, I still think you go for the upside.
Yeah. So I've had Senesi for most of the season, I think. But I haven't had any of those other 4, to be fair. So that's interesting. In terms of those DEFCON achievers, Cullen, Xhaka, Caicedo, and Anderson, I've had none of them. I've had absolutely none of those.
Yeah, nor me. And I'd rather Minter over all 5 of those names right now.
Too.
Like, give me Xhaka or Minter, I still go Minter. And I know Caicedo has been amazing. I think we've got a graphic on Rice and Caicedo. Sure, like, they've been amazing. And Rice is slightly different because he does have the set pieces, right? So Rice, and he's more attacking. Caicedo's not going to keep scoring goals at this rate. Fair play. People like Paul have owned Caicedo and they've smashed it with him. But he's had 3 goals and 1 assist in 10 games. Caicedo does not average 4 goal contributions every 10 games. I bet in his last 100 games, he's probably had 8 maximum goal contributions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. Nikolai says, I think it's a balance act. Pick good picks. Senesi is a good one, but Anderson not so much. Anderson's having a strange old season, I'd say, at Fulham so far.
Talk to us about Rice, Dean, because you've had stick for the Rice pick, but that has come good. And he is different to Caicedo. He's a number 8. He gets DEFCON, but he takes set pieces and open play goal threat.
I've said this since before the season began that I was expecting big things from Declan Rice this season, not just for Arsenal, but for FPL. And it's because he's got so many different tools in the box that he can go and use. And we've obviously seen the threat of his corners. It's not always ideal because quite often, obviously, his corner goes to the far post, and that's when Gabriel heads it back across and someone knocks it in. So he doesn't always necessarily get the points for that, but sometimes, obviously, it will directly be nodded in. He's on free kicks quite a lot of the time. He was making driving runs that are getting in there. He'll get DEFCON sometimes. So he's just an all-round brilliant player. I think the performance levels that he hit, was it the last game? Yeah, I think so. Like, I was just looking at him thinking, honestly, like this guy is just getting better and better and better. Like his all-round ability. I saw somebody like referring to him as like a Viking or something in terms of the like he's like courageous, he's brave, he'll go and try new things. Like he's just, I think he's just become a really good FPL asset. And I think
he got 21 defensive contributions that last game you referred to. 21. You only need 12. Like,
mate, he was so good in that game. He was so good.
I remember watching him in the Euros for England when they lost in the final to Italy. But I remember thinking like he was one of the players of the tournament. Like he was the guy that just wanted to pick the team up, put him on his back. And same with West Ham when they had their big games.
Yeah.
He's still doing that, even at Arsenal. Fair play.
I never thought he would get as good as this, Declan Rice.
Chelsea Academy centre-back. I wanted him back.
Mate, yeah, I know. As I said before, I know the guy that released him from Chelsea, and he was like, honestly, like he was not like this. Like this is not the same player. He's done brilliantly.
Play for Ireland one day. That was his hope.
Yeah, he's done brilliantly. But then when he was breaking through at West Ham, I remember speaking to people there back then, and they were like, he's legit. Like he's going to go a long way, or with us hopefully. But if not, we'll get a lot of money for him. And obviously, they've been doing that. Now, the only thing that concerns me as a Declan Rice owner is that he might be rested soon.
Yeah, there's a midweek round of fixtures. You might have to miss one, but it's only one. And I'm the same with Calafiori. I know I'm buying him where when there's a midweek game, he drops out, and that's fine for one.
Yeah.
Where do you think, let's ask the chat as well. You answer this too. Guys, we're ranking all the midfielders so far for points in FPL this season. Where do Rice and Caicedo rank? So, for example, 10th and 11th. Put the two numbers in the chat. You can see Declan Rice is on 63, Caicedo 58 points. Rank them as midfielders. Give me their rank. Give me two numbers. Where do they rank this season? No cheating. Spam the chat with your guesses. And Dean, I'm going to ask you the same question.
Okay. I'll let the answers start coming in and we can see what people think about how they have fared so far this season. Thanks to everyone who has jumped on today. Look, give us a like and subscribe if you like what you see. We would appreciate all the love. There's also that hype button now. I don't know much about it. There's a hype button that people have been talking about, which apparently really helps.
Where can I push that?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Tell us in the chat about the hype button, because I've been watching some other streams and they're like, oh, press the hype. It really helps out. Hype on your cell phone, says CH. I mean, I've got that up right now, CH.
I'm on laptop and can't see it. But...
I've got my phone open here and I can't see it. But if you know how to hype us, because that is the big new thing in terms of visibility and growth. So yeah, let us know if you can see it, that you've pressed it. In terms of the ranks, can you see it?
No, but there's top fans. Can you see on the chat, there's this little thing called 75 XP, whatever that is. I don't know if that's connected with hype. When you click on that, it's got like, everyone's got an XP rank. So Mackham is third with 75 XP. British 87 is fourth.
Yeah,
I don't quite know if it's like the amount of times you've added. You're 12th, Dean, actually.
Geddy's number one.
So Geddy's
number one. Congrats, Geddy. You can't hyper live, I don't think, says Homegrown. Okay, fair enough. Either way, if you see it later on, press it. Be handy.
What are we talking about? Yeah, that was it. Rice and Caicedo. Where do they rank?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Rice has got to be right up there. Second, yeah. Second and fifth.
He has, second and third. These two have more points than every other midfielder in the game, and Mbeumo, Mo Salah, other than Semenyo. Like, that's bonkers.
Yeah. Bonkers. Yeah, you wouldn't have had that coming into the season for that as a partnership. As I say, what I like about FPL at the moment is you can build a team in your app that actually looks like a legit team, like in terms of a formation and the positions that they're playing. And for the first time ever, it actually works. And that's always been a weird thing, because you used to have like 5 fullbacks and like 3 wingers or whatever. But now you can actually like build your team, and it actually looks like, oh yeah, this team this time might win this week, and that proves it. Declan Rice and Caicedo side by side would be a bonkers and lovely midfield. Homegrown's hyped one of your chats before, by the way, Matt.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, that pre-recorded. So if you want to check out my channel for hypes, you can. Don't know what that does, but we like it. I'll make sure I reference that. Just very quickly, Mateta and Welbeck, 2 good picks. I mean, if you don't own Mateta, now feels like still a really good entry point.
Yeah.
Like loads of selling Gyokeres. He is the obvious replacement. You're saving money. You get into a Crystal Palace attacker. I think we've got a graphic which shows this with their fixtures. Like Mateta's got unbelievable fixtures, as has Ismail Assar, Daniel Munoz, whatever Crystal Palace player you want. But Mateta feels like the obvious buy right now, especially because you're selling Gyokeres. And then Danny Welbeck, just want to quickly touch on him. He feels like he's always the one that no one discusses, no one buys, but he just goes about his business. And when he's fit, he clocks you points.
Yeah. Palace away. Look, it's a big game. Like Palace and Brighton hate each other.
M23 derby.
Yeah, it's one of the weirder derbies in English football, but it is a rivalry, if not a derby. And yeah, it's Danny Welbeck. He's been brilliant. He really has been, and a reliable pick. 7% of people, fair play to you for having a go on him. I've talked about it for a while. Never been brave enough to actually go there, but his points output. Look at that, absolutely brilliant over those games.
An 11 and a 13 and 2 6s in his last 6 games.
So good, so good. Just really.
How do you see that game going, Dean? Brighton Palace, because that's got goals in it, hasn't it? I think
might have goals in it.
But
yeah.
I expect chances.
Maybe it'll be like that Bournemouth Palace 3-3.
Maybe
be going that way, or 2-2. Definitely fancy it. I've got Mark Gahey and I've got Van Heck. I don't know what to do with them. I've
got Richards and Senesi, and I'm like, do I bench Richards at home and play Senesi away to Villa? Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I do fancy Brighton to score. I really do. Don't know. I will have a look on the deadline stream what the previous results in that fixture are, but I always feel like that one should come with goals. And the way Palace are playing at the minute, they're fun. In fact, they're playing tonight, I guess. Have they started already? Crystal Palace, were they an early kickoff or not?
No, I'll have a quick look while we're chatting before we leave. No, Forest is 0-0 at Sturm Graz. Palace. I can't see them listed. No, I don't think so. No. Celtic are 3-0 down there.
Oh, they're playing Alkmaar at 8.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. Lineups aren't out yet then. Okay. I think that I just see flash up Gibbs White missed penalty. Maybe I saw that. Maybe I didn't. I can't. But yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, 35 minutes. Morgan Gibbs White missed pen. Yeah.
I wonder if Chris Wood was on the pitch. I doubt he was, but because I know Chris Wood's been out.
No, Callum Mwendo started for Nottingham Forest.
Did he?
Yeah, Callum Mwendo. It was a strange old team actually. Mancity was in the team.
Oh, with Gibbs White. Interesting. I always thought it'd be one or the other.
Yep. Yates and Sangare in midfield. Let me see if
he's rested Elliot Anderson then, is he?
Wood's not even on the bench.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do fancy Forest versus Leeds for a 1-week punt. If you are on free hit, an Igor Jesus punt up front. I fancy Forest for a home to Leeds. But yeah. So look, guys, we will be back on Saturday morning revealing our teams. It's very likely we'll be locking in our transfers on that stream. So 7:30 a.m. UK time. But look, if you're just joining, go back and watch the last hour. We've covered all the topics in FPL this week, I think. Show some support for the stream on your way out if you're tuning in live and you want to just say goodbye with a like or a subscribe. That'd be really welcome. Any final thoughts from you, mate?
No, CH says, swipe left on the comment preview carousel until the option to hype the video surfaces. Or tap and the carousel will change to show the option to hype. Tap hype.
I don't get it.
Sounding old. Look at us.
We'll try and work it out before Saturday. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next.
Cheers, everyone.